But if you're with us, they put you in jail. Look at what's happened with the J6 hostages. The hostages, that's a horrible thing.
That was former President Trump, of course, defending Capitol rioters during a campaign speech on the third anniversary of the insurrection. Well, fast forward to this week, and perhaps emboldened by those words, a high-level January 6th defendant predicted that the former president will win in November and then clear him of the charges he's now facing. Our Scott MacFarlane joins us now to talk about this. He's been reporting on this story for CBS News. Scott, it's good to see you.
Same here. This is a different moment, Nancy. We've heard all kinds of rhetoric from all kinds of people involved with January 6th, political and defendants. This is different. This
How
is the
so?
most explicit reference any defendants made, in open court or otherwise, to the predicted pardons that are going to potentially blanket pardon 1,400 January 6th defendants. His name is John Benuelos. He's from Illinois. He's the singular defendant from January 6th who's accused of pulling out a gun and firing the gun while amid the mob outside the Capitol. A unique case.
At who?
At the Capitol itself, or
Okay.
into the sky.
Okay.
Not at a person, didn't hit anybody, but this is a different level charge than anybody else has faced, different type of charge than anybody else has faced. And potentially for that reason, he's in pretrial detention right now. Appearing at his arraignment yesterday, the judge urged him to find a good defense lawyer and watch what he says. John Benuelos said in so many words, the quiet part out loud, I don't have to worry, Trump's coming back to office. It does parallel an escalation in the rhetoric being used in that space, in the January 6th criminal world, as this election gets closer and as Trump's rhetoric escalates too.
You cover these cases so closely. Have you heard that kind of sentiment from other defendants? Because it wouldn't be surprising. Former President Trump has said many times he'd be open to pardoning these individuals, and he calls them hostages, not convicts.
It's always equivocating, or it's more subtle. There have been January 6th defendants who, when asked, said, yes, I'll ask for a pardon, or I hope for a pardon. This feels like a transition moment where now they're speaking explicitly and brazenly about what they expect will happen. And that, to a degree, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have more defendants expecting this is going to be their fate, and you have Donald Trump not yet delineating or differentiating to whom he may grant pardons or commutations. Right now, it's just they're all hostages. It's everybody. And it's quite a broad brush with which to paint defendants from January 6th, because there's quite a diversity of people, Nancy.
Right.
There are some who truly did walk in, walk out, saw the chaos and decided this is not for me. They were unlawfully on the grounds. They face a misdemeanor. There are those who beat cops. There are those who conspired to attack, to bring weapons, to threatened to hang Mike Pence, who shot a gun, allegedly, toward the Capitol building. So to say everybody gets a pardon is a particularly interesting notion, considering there are so many degrees among the defendants.
And what do you find is typically the consequence for defendants who are defiant, who are not remorseful, who say something like this, oh, it doesn't matter because I'm going to get pardoned? Is there a penalty for that?
There's a factor at sentencing. How much remorse do you show? Do you show remorse for your crime? If you've pleaded guilty, are you remorseful? The Department of Justice will bring it up to the judge if they don't think you've been remorseful, if you've been defiant, if you continue to spin conspiracy theories or tout what happened January 6th. The judge will take that into consideration and potentially mete out a more strict punishment. So you can go from 6 months to 9 months or 6 years to 9 years. They can escalate a sentence based on how remorseful you are or how remorseful you aren't. I'll add this footnote. This episode in court yesterday was in front of a judge whose name may be familiar. It's Judge Tanya Chutkin, the same judge assigned to Trump's January 6th special counsel case.
Very interesting. I want to ask you about another story that you've been following while I have you here. You've also been looking at this new congressional report on aides who tell members that they feel unsafe. What can you tell us about that?
This got our attention when a source of ours said, you can't understand how many interns I talked to who told me they've gotten death threats this week just for answering the phone at their congressional offices. So we went to the Congressional Management Foundation, which surveys congressional aides and staff. They're in the business of watching out for the thousands of staffers who work at Capitol Hill. Their survey of about 140 top aides found 75% are worried about their safety or their boss's safety, about them receiving threats or being endangered in public spaces. Not just a few, nearly 75%. And the threats are becoming more frequent, they're becoming more visceral, they're potentially becoming more dangerous. There's that number. Nearly 75% think their member isn't safe and they have anxiety about it. It's causing turnover issues among congressional staff who are bailing on this walk of life because this may not be worth it. It's also causing members to have second thoughts about coming back here, but it's also escalating. And Nancy, that's the fundamental dynamic. This is becoming a more acute problem as our politics become more toxic and the rhetoric becomes more dangerous.
Really disturbing if the best and brightest don't want to work on Capitol Hill in any capacity.
Right.